Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Accountability Mentorship. I am your host, Michael Fields, CEO and founder of Entrepreneurship Services. So today we're going to get into a podcast of mine that I've went over this week, and I felt very strongly about doing this podcast. Today's course is going to be about anger, hatred, pride. Are you being or creating a toxic environment for other people? Just to start off. So I heard this in church, and I automatically assumed that this can be involved in everyone and their everyday lives. It doesn't always have to do just with religion, but it's very true. Having anger, hatred, and pride can ruin a lot of people's friendships around you, or a lot of people's businesses around you. So towards the accountability part of it is we all need to be accountable for how we act. Otherwise, we're going to ruin relationships around us. So stay tuned, and I hope you like this message. And like I said before, if you like this message, share it with someone else. I felt like very heavy-hearted to do this podcast, and I feel that a lot more people need to hear about this. So in today's lesson, we're going to touch on a few things that my pastor had said, but I also added a couple things in there to help with just a business owner side of it, or anybody that just wants to hold themselves accountable. So to get started, anger and hatred. This can cause you to become toxic to other people. This can push you away from other people. Anger and hatred can make people not want to confide in you for anything. This also can ruin your relationships. The relationships that should or could make a difference in your life. Just because you are hateful to somebody else, that doesn't mean they can't change your life eventually. Who is that person? Do you truly know them? If you hate this person, is there a way that you could become friends with them and actually learn something from them? You can learn anything from anybody in this world. And a lot of people don't know other people's true potential. There's a lot of people out there that have a great level of potential, but we just don't see that. We see something we hate about somebody, and then we judge them upon it, and then we don't actually truly get to know them. How often does our pride get in the way of creating our relationship? Do we have a sense of pride to the point that we exploit to the world that people should honor us, and we should be honored? Other people should be honored to be in our presence. Do we do that? Do we have a feeling and sense of self-entitlement to the point of saying, I deserve the outcome of this. I deserve this to happen. Do we have that much pride? Do we do that to ourselves? Do we do that to other people? Can we learn to say, instead of saying, I deserve this, we need to say, I get to do this. There's a lot of people in this world do not get to own their own business and be in charge of their relationships. There's a lot of different religions in this world that don't let people do that. Do you not see how blessed you are to live in a country or to live in an area that you can actually create the best relationships you can? Do you not think that there's a higher being that wants you to be a better person and treat people with respect your whole life? You only get to live one life. Do you want people to look at you and say, damn, that guy was an asshole? Do you want that to happen? I think it's time that we sit down and really judge ourselves on our pride. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of always having that sense of pride. Well, we're all guilty, but we can always learn and move on from it. Doesn't mean that you need to stay in that same place and be toxic. In my life, I was kind of raised in a controlled environment, but by my grandparents, by my parents. I was raised around a lot of really controlling people. They had really great hearts, and they still do. But that controlling that I was raised on also made me controlling and made me have a sense of pride that said, I deserve this. No, I don't deserve it. I get to do these things. I shouldn't want to deserve anything. I should be happy for what I have, be grateful, and move on with the sense of, I'm going to change other people's lives because I want to, not because I demand it, or I must do it because I deserve this. No, I don't deserve it, and a lot of things I don't deserve, but I get to change other people's lives because I get to do that. I get to. We need to learn to be selfless and grateful for what we have and get to do. It's time to change our attitudes so that we can grow together with the sense of striving to get to know each other and build relationship. And it is a season. It is the season to be thankful for what we have. It's a season to be thankful for our family and our relationships. So why not start now? I don't care about the new year. You need to start now. This might just save some of your relationships so that you can spend time with some of your family members. As my pastor said, we are all not worthy to the point where we can demand other people to bow at our feet. We should be grateful for what we have. And the only thing that we should get is to be judged on Judgment Day. We should be courteous and grateful that we get to do certain things on this earth. When you look back on your life, doesn't matter how old you are at this moment, what do you think that outcome is going to say? If you believe in God, on Judgment Day, what do you think He's going to say about your life? If you don't believe in God, you saw your one last day on earth, and you could look back and see everything that you did in your life. Is it going to change other people's lives? Or were you harsh and demanding of people and demanding of certain outcomes? Or did you live a life of gratefulness and passion, not only to just help people for a benefit, but help people because you want to? Help people to make the world a better place. The words that have to do with pride and anger are bitterness, which means lack of sweetness, wrath, which means extreme anger, anger itself, which means selfishness and agitation, clamor, which means bursting of anger, slander, tearing each other down, malice, ill-wicked desires towards others. All of this has to do with being selfish ourselves. Malice, tearing each other down, the bitterness, the wrath, the anger, the slander. Being rude to someone, being angry, and having too much pride means that we not only have issues with our pride, but we also have issues with being selfish. And I am seriously guilty of it. And I think that majority of the listeners that listen right now are probably guilty of it too. We're selfish because we say, I want this, or I need to have this, or I need to be this person, or have these things, or have this specific outcome. Let's not focus on, hey, I demand this outcome, and say, you know what, I'm going to work towards a passion of changing people's lives and helping people. Wherever that takes me, it takes me. You get to have those journeys, so why not let those things change your life? This selfishness can demand honor and self-righteousness, which is not right. Like I just said a little bit ago, it's the season to be grateful for what we have with our relationships, families, businesses, everything. So let's just be grateful for what we have and move on with the sense of passion to change other people's lives, not just for our benefit. We shouldn't expect things on this earth. We should get to do things on this earth. We are here to change other people's lives for the better and make relationships, not stay bitter. We need to forgive those people and move on. And you may say, oh, forgiving is a religious thing. I don't really think so. You don't have to be religious to forgive somebody. If someone treats you like crap, it's okay to forgive that person. Forgive that person and show them the great motivation and forgiveness that you have in your heart. And don't just forgive someone and say, ha, I forgave you. Now you have to forgive me. No, don't demand somebody. They can only change themselves. Someone is only in charge of changing themselves. So you change yourself, and in the process, you will eventually change other people's lives around you. We need to be thankful and gracious for what we have. We need to be blessed. Like I said earlier, there's not a lot of people in this world that get to do what we get to do. So why not live the life we can, or while we can now, and build those relationships and build those businesses, not in a manner of demanding a certain thing, but building this business to change other people's lives. We should not expect things to be a certain way. We need to be blessed that we get to do these things a certain way. It's okay to have a sense of value for what you offer, but don't be bitter about it. Be grateful and humble. I know this was a heavy message, but this is a time of year to be grateful for a lot of things. If you think that anybody else would like this podcast, I urge you to please share this podcast with somebody else or tell someone about it. I think that we all need to try to build new relationships that have been on the back burner, treating people like crap or not forgiving that person. I think it's time that this year in 2020 that we change those relationships the best we can. Forgive those people, invite them to Christmas. Do something. But don't just sit there and be stagnant about your relationships. It's time that we do something about them. Thank you all again for listening, and thank you for joining me today. If you like this podcast or know anybody else that might like it or can benefit from it, please like and subscribe to this podcast so that you can hear more life-changing material, and share this with those people that may like change their lives or you think they might like it. Again, for the listeners that have been here before and are not on my Facebook page, please go to Accountability Mentorship on Facebook and check out that page, like it, and also you can check out my new material. It's just accountability material that I'll be posting every week. And once again, thank you for listening. Just remember, change yourself and find your purpose so that you can change the lives around you through your passions. Have a great day and have a great week.